Dad and I have began our final challenge of FM24 in the Super League. Starting in Tier 3, we have to make our way to the very top to be the first to win both the Super League and the Champions Cup between us. And so far, it was early success for us both, as I was promoted in Season 1 in very dramatic fashion, while Dad was promoted in Season number 2. And I'm not starting Season 3 with much promise, as my top scorer's release clause is activated by many bids. However, my scouts have found me the perfect replacement should he decide to leave the club, though, for roughly the same price. Dad, after making the step up, had big plans with his transfer budget, which is nearly £100 million, on two very decent midfield upgrades. And that's to go with his new striker, a 19-year-old Max Morstead, as the young German joins Lech Poznan for nearly £40 million. I have other bids for Monchu, who is one of my best players that I'm having to bat away for now still. And it's more drama during the summer window as one of Dad's transfer targets decides to go elsewhere. My striker, Pedro Mendes, did eventually leave for around £20 million, so I was very quick to put in a bid for Semedo and made sure we secured a deal for a player I think might be even better for us in the long run. And Dad was also splashing the cash as the season approached on another centre midfielder ready for season number 3. Dad was actually promoted into our league in Tier 2, and the earlier part of the season before we played each other was a competition of whose new striker could score more goals than the other, as both were finding the net rather early on. That, as well of course, was making sure that we both qualified through the earlier rounds of the Champions Cup. Dad, you're through the first round, but you play the second round after I do.
Yes.
So the pressure's on now to see if you can reach the second round of the Champions Cup. You've got Malaga in there. Now, we've seen a few of the transfers, but you've had a very busy window.
Yes, I mean, coming up the division, so I felt that I've got to improve the squad. So that's what I've got to try and do. I've got to get better players in. It's more important to stay in this league, but actually win games as well by obviously really.
That's it.
The money side of it, really. So, yeah.
Because so many teams go down, I think, because it's like 16 teams go down in each league, so it's quite a lot. You've got to just
a few games in there. You've got to be in there.
You just got to stay away from it, So, you spent quite a lot of money. You got Mayenda coming in, who's a striker, but obviously we know the main striker is Max Morstead, who spent £40 million on.
I mean, he's only 19, but this guy can get better at, from what he is now, and he's a good striker now, I feel. So I'm sort of like really sort of putting a lot of hopes in this guy, but his physicals are a lot better, and so just hope that he improves. I want to give him game time, so he's going to improve.
He's good in the air, and he's 6'4" with good jump and reach as well, so he's a danger from set pieces. He's young, he's got good potential. But then you're looking at the defensive side of the game, and you brought in Bela Kotchap, again a young player, 23 years of age, young defender, and again a step up from what you already have.
That's right, and he's two-footed, so he can, he'll defend the right or the left side of it as the centre defence. So I've got to be looking at this as well. I'm conceding too many goals at the same time, so I've got to make sure I don't concede goals. Going up the league, I'm coming against better players.
Yeah, absolutely. Rodrigo Villagra from Brest, hopefully he don't make a tit of himself, £43 million, Argentinian centre midfielder. Quite a lot of money for this guy.
It is quite a lot of money, and I'm sort of looking at, he can play both positions as a defensive midfielder or the centre midfield, so it's sort of like gives me options in that area, I feel.
Yeah, but he obviously wasn't the only midfielder. There was a few midfielders who did come in.
We know what I like from our midfielders.
Yeah, Candella's a right back who came in, who can also fill on the left hand side though.
That's one of the reasons why I've got him. He's sort of, and he can go forward as well a little bit. So that's what I've got him in for. He'll be a better right back than the one I've got, I feel. So it's an improvement again. Yeah,
but then there was more money spent. Now we've seen the two midfielders that you brought in. We've got Matu Siwa, who is a Dutch hard-working sort of midfielder, kind of like not very good, not like superb at anything, but kind of good at everything.
That's right, yeah. And he plays the two positions again, so it's another sort of midfield that I can use. If I get injuries, if he's not in the first team for playing a defensive midfielder, he'll go forward into that central midfielder role.
Yeah.
So I think he's a good squad player, but I would say he'll get first team football, I feel.
Yeah. Now the other midfielder you went for, of course, went to PAOK instead, which meant you had to pivot, and you found Daniel Baloka as the replacement. Another £40 million spent. Arguably just as good as a player that you lost out on from Union in the Belgian side. The Romanian 26-year-old comes in. So that's 3 midfielders that you brought in this window.
It's 3 midfielders, and there's a sort of like...
They all do the same...
They all do the same thing. So you can see what I'm trying to do, getting the same players are sort of in, but... I just feel I just need. I'm building a squad really.
Yeah.
And you've got to have this sort of caliber of player in. So it doesn't matter whether I get a player injured or something like that. The next player that drops in is just as good.
Yeah.
Which I feel when you're in this type of league, really, you can have a really good first team, but if you get injuries and the player behind him isn't as good, you're in problems. You're not going to win that game. And you can get a long injury. So I can afford to get a couple of injuries, and I've got good players who are almost identical, really. And that's what I'm trying to build. I do like my midfield being a very strong midfield.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I'm sort of getting beyond. They're all the sort of same.
I think as well, we're looking at it as there's 47 league games.
That's right, yeah.
And we want to get quite far in the cups.
Yeah.
For the money. If you don't get far in the cups, which tends to happen, is your players are too tired. They are rested for the cup games. You get knocked out the cups, so you only play in the leagues. There's a lot of football to be played, obviously, for this. But then the final player is a player that you're actually locking in, and it was Mateus Fernandes from West Ham. Another £30 million, more of an attacking midfielder.
That's right, yeah. This guy's more of an attacking midfielder. That's why I'm going to lock him in. I mean, he's 21 as well, so I've got a good few seasons out of this guy, and I just reckon he'll get better as he goes on as well. So I want to use him in that sort of more of attacking area where his passing is really good as well. So he'll find the little gaps for my strikers to put the ball in the back of the net. So.
Yeah, he's really tricky on the ball.
Yeah. Which,
in those tight spaces in between the midfield and defence, is what you need. Somebody who will receive the ball with a good first touch, can dribble around and find a pass.
Yeah.
Now, you can see he's got an under-23s player on it. I thought I'd highlight this because in the Champions Cup, the rules of the league, or the rules of that competition, suggest that you need to have a good amount of under-23s. You can see here, there must be at least 5 under-23 players in the playing 11. So in the starting 11, you need youth players.
Yes, and
which is a nice little twist.
You can get caught with that as well, can you?
Oh, yeah.
If you're buying more experienced players, and more experienced players are over 25 usually. So, yeah, you've got to be looking at that, getting those the under-23 players. So you've got to bear it in mind.
Yeah, they've got to make sure that you got enough to fill the squad, or else you miss out on substitutes. Now, at the minute, I can't even fill the substitutes anyway. Kind of irrelevant, but in the future, we need to take note of that.
Yeah.
So tactically, Dad, you switch things around to a bit more of a 4-2-2 that you've got here.
That's right,
with a few of the player roles being tweaked.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of make it a bit more sort of... a solid sort of going forward. Really, I've got 4 players up there, but I've got Fernandes coming back to help out the defensive midfielders. Really, so I'm hoping that I'm not too open in the midfield. I'm going to make it nice and solid, and I've got a couple of good strikers up there now who can put the ball away for me. So hopefully the results will go my way.
Yeah, they've been scoring goals as well, as we have seen. Max Morstead has been on the score sheet a couple of times. We've been in a bit of a competition between Semedo and Morstead, and Semedo's winning at the minute. But yeah, a good start considering you've gone up a tier. I mean, some of the matches you've played, you are scoring goals, beating Zenit 6-0. Obviously, it was a tough start. You have Fiorentina, who I think were in the Super League either one of the 2 seasons before. So that's a tough start, but not a bad result. But then to win 6-0 against Zenit, you're like, right, okay, Lecce 6-1. You're picking up wins against Lyon. It's looking all right. I think you'll be quite safe, to be honest.
If it carries on that way, I should be, definitely.
So let's have a look then at my transfer window as well, because there was other players as well as Vivaldo Semedo that joined. £31 million. Obviously losing Pedro Mendes wasn't fantastic, but I also decided to bring in a couple of defending options for me as well. So Loic Williams comes in, £9 million, just a good backup centre back. He's really good left-footed one as well, and for the price I thought it was rather cheap. We got Bruno Onyemaechi, who is from Olympiacos, £19 million left back, who's come in as well, so not a bad option there. Sayal Kombendi from Lyon is a right back that we have brought in, so he goes on the right hand side, obviously can fill that wing back position, only 20 years of age, got a little bit more potential left. I like the fact he's very physical and he's got good aggression and determination to work his way up and down the pitch. That's what I need from my wing backs. I'm not at a position right now where I can go for the very best wing backs in the world. There's obviously 48 teams that they would rather go to before even the teams that are better than me in the divisions that we're in, who are picking up better right backs right now. So the calibre of Kumbendi is good enough for me to fit in quite nicely into my squad, and I'm locking him in as well. So very much the similar tactic, well, the same tactic as what we used and kept us in the division last year. And going into this season, although we started off a little bit ropey, 2 losses there. They were away from home, only losing by a goal in each of them. The games that we have won, I mean, knocking Newcastle out of the Champions Cup, who they are in the Super League and doing well under Eddie Howe. Really happy with that, knocking them out 2-1. A couple of draws, but then we've been on a bit of a run lately. 5 wins in a row, 4 of them in the Super League Tier 2. And of course, just beating Saint Etienne in the second stage of the Champions Cup. So, not a bad start. If we're looking then at the season preview, and we are in the same league. And by the way, we don't play each other to the final game of the season.
Oh no!
Which, yeah, that's.
I wish I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, I mean, if we're both mid-table and it matters nothing, absolutely fine.
Good, yeah.
But it's going to be quite funny if we're both going for a promotion spot.
The last position spot, like it is now. Look.
If it was like it is now, you could not ask for a perfect scenario to the end of the season. Let's look at the season preview then, because if we're looking at that, this is obviously every team in our tier, in Tier 2. We are way down, so 44th and 49th out of course, 95. So we're in like that mid-table spot. But there's a lot of big teams above us, obviously. Zenit, who have only just been relegated, is the team that you beat 6-0.
Yeah.
They've just been relegated from the Super League, so that says it all, really. But look at the big teams' names that are in here, and even some of the scumbag ones as well. There's some big teams that have dropped down into this tier, so it's going to be difficult, as it always is in these Super Leagues, but they are just so much fun. But a nice little run in the Champions Cup will be great for the money situation. I could definitely do with it. My finances of £59 million are we could definitely do with bumping that up with a nice little run, kind of like what you did a couple of seasons ago. So let's see what happens. After progressing through against Malaga to the 3rd round of the Cup, Dad then unfortunately came face to face with Bayern Munich, and there was no happy ending in that match. I had a much easier matchup in the 3rd round against French side Guingamp, and we took the lead early on in the second half, until they pulled one back from a cracking finish outside of the box. Then the game went to extra time, and a terrible clearance cost us big time, and we were joining Dad in being eliminated. It meant that we could just focus on the league, and Semedo continued to score, getting 18 league goals by the new year. However, it was so tight in the league table, we were down in 15th, and all the way down to 18th was just 3 points away from the promotion spots, including Dad in 11th. Out of the two of us, Dad carried on the most hope for promotion as the season continued, but even his form sometimes dipped, and he couldn't get a good run of wins. Dad was still in 12th place, and while I had dropped down to 21st, he was only 3 points still from the promotion spots, but his final game of the season would see him travel to face me. And so the fear of the inevitable kicked in, and I could cost Dad the promotion on the final day of the season. And with 4 games left, Dad managed to find himself in the promotion spots on goal difference, but with the positions behind being so close in points. Meaning every game mattered, and with 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss in Dad's next 3, of course it comes down to the final game of the season. And with the game 0-0 at half-time, Dad's left back was rash in the tackle, and after already receiving a yellow card, is sent off in the 46th minute. That obviously was not ideal, and that's where my Aris side stepped up and took the lead and the advantage against Dad's 10 men. Which was then made even worse as Dad's side went down to 9 men after a horrific looking tackle as striker Stupinski lost the ball and lashed out on the defender to receive a straight red. Against 9 men, Dad never stood a chance and gaps began to open up, allowing Ayari to score a second. I mean, I'm just really happy.
I can't believe we've seen that coming. That's what makes it worse. We've seen it coming.
The only thing that would have made it worse is if I got promoted off the back of it. I was just nowhere near. But I was very happy to play a big part in you not getting promoted to the Super League, because that made me very happy.
2 players sent off as well.
Yeah, which obviously cost you the game, because the goals didn't come until after it. I mean, I was very much all over you. We can't see, obviously, through the statistics. I mean, as it happened, you can see there, but you can't see through the statistics sort of when those shots were.
Yeah.
You can see sort of when the goal was, I was already on top before half-time. So I guess I had the momentum going into the second half, but yeah, you actually finished down in 12. It looks like you were nowhere near it.
Oh no!
But you can see with 3 points,
with
a better goal difference, you'd have been promoted over Nice. So
I mean, you can look back over the last sort of 5 or 6 results and say I lost it somewhere else. But
because your end of season run wasn't great at all.
There's 3 games: Brighton,
Paderborn. You can see that the Paderborn game is terrible. By the way, 2 goals from Junior Krupi in the last 2 minutes.
I mean, that's you look at that game and say that's what cost me.
Yeah.
But when it's in your hands, the last game of the season, and I'm playing against a team that are a lot lower than me in the league, you expect to do it, don't you? But, the guys lost their head, didn't they? They just started kicking everything that was going, really.
Oh yes. So I mean, the Champions Cup, you're unfortunate really to get the Bayern Munich in there, but third round is you got past Malaga. It's the luck of the draw, isn't it?
That's right.
You get a bad draw.
You just got to hope that you get a good draw, through, and some of the big teams get knocked out somewhere along the line while you're creeping in the back door, and that didn't happen for me. I've come up against one of the big guns.
I mean, obviously we've seen the likes of Bristol City fly when they had a good draw in that first season, but it wasn't to be. I mean, I only got to the third round as well, but I was eliminated by Guingamp, who I should be beating. They're in the tier below us, so I was really disappointed to lose to that team.
I mean, on the positive, for the first season in that league, that's quite good. I almost got promoted.
Nearly back to back.
I've got to look at the positive side.
Yeah. But my positive, I think the only thing I could take is that Vivado Semedo scored a lot of goals. So it was a good replacement to have. He is wanted. I need to be aware of that. £31 million, 26 goals in 45 appearances with 4 assists. Really good indeed. Yeah. Now, your side of things, Dad, I mean, your striker that you brought in, Max Morstead, didn't have as much goals. I think more defensively side of the game, you were a lot stronger than me.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got development in there. You can see from
he has got better.
Just physicals and his finish and first touch alone.
I'm going to look at it. He's a young lad, so that's a good experience first season. Nearly got promoted to it. We move on from that. Hopefully get better next season. Then really.
Absolutely, yeah. Mateus Fernandes, he has developed and grown as well. You can see even in his technicals and his passing ability. Definitely worth locking him in. 21-year-old got better. 10 assists across the season. I think you'd want a little bit more than that, but it's promising for a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's something to build on.
Yeah.
I look at it. I look at that sort of like 32 million. That's a good signing, I feel.
Yeah, not too bad. Okay, finances then. Going into this summer, you have got £76 million with a very good wage budget. So still reeling off the back of having a really high budget. And that's how important getting far into those competitions is.
That's right,
this is affecting you seasons down the line.
Yeah.
I mean, the transfer revenue is only 60%. I have no idea why, but the rest of it is looking really positive. Whereas if you look at my budget, where I haven't had a good cup run yet, £63 million, 300 grand. I can't believe it's that high because my finance is only 109. It's the highest it's been for a while. But I'm surprised my budget is that high.
And they're giving you 100% transfer budget back, so in your signing. So, yeah, it's good.
Got a little bit to spend, so we'll see what happens this summer because we're starting to see new gens come in now. We're going into the 4th season, and if memory serves me correct of how this database works, the new gens are unbelievable in this save. So we might start stumbling across them very soon in the next couple of summers.
Make sure our scouts are we're getting our money's worth off them, really. Mate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At least it's really easy where to scout the Super League. So
the hardest thing is, like you said earlier, there's a lot of teams above us, like in the top league and in our league as well, that these players want to go to. So that's the hardest thing, is finding these little gems, but getting them to come to us before the big guns get hold of them.
That's it. Right. Well, Entertaining summer ahead, I expect. Let's find out what happens. Transfer-wise, this summer, I was of course restricted by budgets, but I did sell my left-back to bring in a much better one in Maturo. Well, this time it was Dad who was losing his best striker because of a release clause to multiple bids. However, he brought in an adequate replacement in Bungard from Brøndby. My main target was an attacking midfielder from Brighton, as the Greek Wonderkid Kostelas signs for £62 million. And after last season's poor league position, I was willing to try something new to begin with. Kostelas adapted really well early on and scored 4 goals in his first 5 games, but the results on the pitch were very hit and miss for us. And so we adapted and switched to a 4-2-3-1 with 2 shadow strikers, allowing him to roam a little bit more. Meanwhile, Dad was flying in the league and crept towards September in the top 3. The only positive for me was that I won my Champions Cup game while Dad was losing to Basel. But disaster struck as with literally an hour of the transfer window remaining, Krasnodar activated Semedo's release clause and signed our striker with no time for us to find a replacement. I feel a little bit hard done by because in all my time as supporting being a Manchester United fan, I've never seen a transfer get done in 13 minutes. 13 minutes you can see here. Semedo bid come in from Krasnodar. 5 to 11, or 6 minutes to 11 if we're being really precise. 7 minutes past 11, he's gone. Gone. Because of the release clause.
Don't you wish Man United could do that sometimes?
I've never. It normally takes them 5 months. 13 minutes to get that done, and then by then the transfer deadline passes. I ain't going to make a transfer in that time.
You got no chance.
No chance whatsoever. But I have reacted. Because obviously we've got that ability to do so. I've got an offer and a bid that's been put in for Hugo Duro as a replacement, £43 million. But if he does accept, he won't arrive until January. So that's what I've had to do. I've had to just go, okay, let's just find a striker. But I'm without my main striker, Semedo, for about 6 months of the season. A big chunk of the season, the majority of the games in the season.
Definitely, yeah.
Including, of course, those really important cup games.
You could be knocked out of the cup before the new striker gets out. Help you out.
All right, you ain't in it. Basel knocking you out. Let's go straight to that.
Yeah,
Basel, second round, knocking you out.
And that was with me strikers.
That was with your striker. Yeah, you've been able to replace your striker. So, yeah, not 1-0 knocking you out there. Didn't even score a goal against
I was doing so well up till then as well, wasn't I?
Yeah, you've had a great start. I mean,
Yes.
Brentford, losing to Brentford, but I think they've been in the Super League. They've had some, and then we're at home as well. We got to remember the home and away fixtures make a massive difference in these divisions because of the travelling. You're still doing a lot of the travelling. It's like playing, obviously, a game in the Champions League. When you go for away from home, it's harder than what it would be in your league format because of the travelling. Football Manager just take that into consideration. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you've been doing really well. A good win against Young Boys to begin with. We had a nice little 4-game run there in the league, including beating Brighton away from home, Dresden away from home, with a lot of goals being scored as well.
Yes.
And then no goals against Basel.
The new
sense.
The
You're
new
in the league below.
The new strikers are performing as well, so I'm pleased with that.
Yeah. So Pauk was the end draw there, which you rescued in the 97th minute after they took the lead in the 95th. So
I always find when you lose
one.
a game, the next game's always the dodgy game as well.
Oh,
and I always, in my mind, if I lose a game, I always think best result of this would probably be a draw, then you kick on after that.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's what usually happens, really.
But of course, there are some new names, and one name has been dotted around quite a lot. It was the transfer of Beto.
Yes.
You brought in Bungard as the replacement when you lost.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Where is he? Wherever he's gone. I can't. Max Morstead there for £43 million. Bungard was brought in for that, but you had already signed what was supposed to be Max Morstead's strike partner.
That's right, yeah.
In Beto, £33 million from
I feel really at sort of this level. That's a really good, sort of partner to be up front with you. This guy, he is, look at his physicals, his strength wise and all that. He's got it all already. He's going to be up there and helping him really. 6'4", he's good in the air. So yeah, this guy was going to be definitely there, just sort of like nodding him down for him to be tapping in, and then I'd go and lose him as well. So I'd then sort of go and then look out for another striker then really.
Yeah.
So
he has obviously been one of my favourite strikers to use across FM24.
Yeah.
So as we're coming towards the end of FM24, and I don't think he'll be as good in the next one.
No.
No. It's been lovely.
He's been a bit disappointed in real life playing for Everton, and it's
Yeah.
been such a shame, really, because he come to Everton with such good sort of reports. And
I
all
was
that.
so excited when he came.
We sort of loved it when he
Yeah.
came. So yeah, it's such a shame, really.
But, I mean,
he's good to use at the moment.
It's nice that one last challenge.
Yeah, we've given him a
Beto's
chance.
here again.
Yeah, we've got him back again.
When's Frank Kessie turning up? Now, Yunus Emery Konak, £44 million from Brentford, centre midfielder, is actually a player that I looked at as well. But Dad had already gone in for. Very good mentally for somebody who's only 20 years of age.
Only 20 years of age. And I think this guy will be in my team for a few years now in that role of the defensive midfielder there. I mean, already his aggression's there, his tackling's there, his marking's there, and and his physicals is all there at 20. So I think I've bought a really good player here.
Yeah, and then if we're looking at the last two signings outside of Bungard, Arthur was the other one in August where you had a little bit of money spare. £38 million right back come in.
Well, I had to look at my right back because my right back cost me promotion last season. So I was thinking about getting another one in just in case. I might have to look to sort of sell him. He's cost me a lot of money, sort of. So I've got this guy, and I think he can be just as good, or if not better.
And he covers both sides.
Again, which if you listen to some of the videos that I do like a player that can do that, but. He's mainly on the right, and he's not bad going forward either.
Yeah.
So I feel that this guy will probably be as good as and probably get into the first team.
And his teeth matches his hair.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, tactically, Dad, setting up in the same formation, unchanged from last year. I mean, I don't blame you really. You were
I was close to get promotion. Yeah, so
close.
Yeah. One game cost me. Yeah. So I'm gonna go for it again. So keep the same formation, and hopefully the players sort of do me well again this season.
Yeah.
And I'll score a few more goals with the two I've got up front this season.
Your strength and depth is a lot better than mine.
Yeah.
The size of your squad is humongous.
And the good thing is about that as well. If I get promoted, I've got a lot of players that I can sell to make that a little bit more money as well.
True.
To sort of help me in that top league, because some of these players will not be good enough for the top league.
No.
So I've got a few players that I can sell that are not getting into this team, and they'll help me out for the next season type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can see from the likes of my squad, it's nowhere near as big. We still got 13 substitutes, but 2 of them are goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's look at the transfers. It's that we've got. Maturo obviously came in, which was the replacement left back after selling Onyemaechi, who only joined the year previous, but we signed him for 19, sold him for 23, so nice little £4 million profit. But Alan Maturo is just a step above, and he can even go further than that, and he's only 21 years of age. I like the look of him. We're going to try and obviously develop him into a wing back, but he can play centre back. He's 6'2", so if we need a left-footed centre back, he's there. But his crossing ability is way too good for me to ignore and not put him in that wing-back position. But there was obviously one more signing that we brought in, and that was Costelas, who has stepped up massively into the position this year as our sort of main striker, and he's done really well. So Costelas coming in, very happy with that. The Greek 19-year-old, £62 million. So instead of buying a lot of players, let's put a couple to bring in with the money to try and improve the side. But another signing from Brighton there. So tactically, we've got Costelas who goes in there, but Volpato is quite happy to play in that attacking midfield role. If obviously we didn't lose Semedo, my plan was to obviously be this with Semedo up front. That's what I was looking at and going, oh, this is quite good.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be that way now because we don't have Semedo. So now it looks like Costelas is going to have to jump into that striker position. And we've got a couple of players who can play there, but it looks like Fredrik Jensen is the guy who's going to step into that. He's not that good. But that's the reason why I said Dad's got way better strength and depth than I have. I don't necessarily have a lot of players in that position. Sisto can obviously assist, but he's not fantastic at all. He just plays quite well in the game, to be honest. So I think we might struggle a little bit, and we have struggled at the start of the season. We've lost quite a lot of games, including against the Rats of Brents. You'll be pleased to know, Dad, for some bizarre reason, we've been moved to Group A, which means we are no longer in your group.
Right.
And I'm really disappointed in that.
I'm not.
Because I had a lot of fun costing you last year. And it was all, I feel like we're being punished. And we're stuck in Group A.
With Rennes.
Yeah, with
And
Rennes.
they beat you.
Who beat us. And I feel like there's a lot harder teams in here. And we were struggling last year. So, yeah, we've had to change formation and then change it again. So hopefully now we might be all right. We'll see how this one plays out. But we are a little bit further on in the Champions Cup because we defeated Servette 1-0 in our second round. But we got Rangers in the third round who are in our group and doing a lot better than us. So we'll see. And where we mentioned about the new gens coming in, Rangers have one. 17 years of age. He is 17. That good. Yeah, Scott Lane. So I noticed him straight away when I seen that Rangers were my next opponent. I clicked on Rangers to see who their manager was, and I seen their key player was a 17-year-old.
A 17-year-old with a central midfielder with finishing at 17.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
So, yeah, that's the type of caliber of player. But, yeah, when I clicked on it to see who the manager was, because obviously Russell Martin is a terrible manager. And I thought, surely not Russell Martin's still there. But no, then I seen a 17-year-old as their key player, and I was like, what? So, yeah. Nowhere near the money that we can to bring in, but there is options in the future for players just like that, and there's loads of them. Yeah. So will we start seeing them through this season? We'll have to find out, but maybe at the end of next season, that'll be the type of caliber of player we'll be looking for. But I've got to stay in this league because right now we are right down in 31st. Again, the season preview. We'll take a look at that. It doesn't favour us too well either. You're in 46th, I'm in 50th, which I think is the two lower positions than what we were last year. Speaking of Frank Kessie,
there he is.
There he is. He's at Anderlecht
Frank
at the
Mill,
minute.
mate.
Yeah. So he's at Anderlecht enjoying himself.
40 million. It's a tempting, isn't it? I always win the league with Frank Kessie.
Yeah, so we'll see if he ever appears. I did say he might appear, didn't I? There he is, straight away. Like he's in the Media Dream 11 for this tier, alongside Nelson Viper, Duranville and Sesko, who, by the way, all play for Borussia Dortmund, and there's no wonder why they are second favourites to go up.
Yeah.
Who the hell was Shakhtar got in their team to be 1 to 10 to go up? That's absolutely mental. I mean, their key players nowhere near as good as any of those three, so I don't understand why that's the case. But anyway, let's find out what happens this season. With reinforcements not arriving until January, I thought we would really struggle, but Costa stepped up and became our go-to striker for the first part of the season. Dab was thriving, and it was mainly thanks to the 13 goals from Beto by January. And as you can see from the league tables, he was in a good position to be promoted to the Super League this season. January came and went, and Hugo Duro did join us, but things in the starting 11 didn't change too much, and he became more of an option. My run in the Champions Cup came to an end just 2 rounds later after defeating Rangers, then losing to Liverpool, who beat us 2-0. It wasn't much of a run, but it still helped our finances creep over the £100 million mark. Dad hit a bad patch in March, losing 4 games from 5, which did harm his promotion hopes towards the end of the season. While I stood no chance down in 16th, Dad was sat in 9th place but 4 points adrift with 9 games to go. That's when Dad's luck switched, and somehow he was getting lucky back passes and snatching wins off the back of it, going on a good run of games and wins. Winning every game through April, which completely changed his fortune. Climbing up into the promotion spots with 4 games left and 2 points ahead of 9th place. The winning run then came to an end in the following fixture with a draw to Famalicão, but all Dad needed to do was cling on to the top 8 in the league. And a win against Leicester and a draw to Hoffenheim was enough to secure promotion. I wasn't in the league. If I was there, I'd have beat you and took away 3 points.
I've just scraped in.
Yeah, well done.
Just scraped in. I thought I was going to chug it away at one stage.
Yeah, you went on a...
good.
I mean, some of the goals, the back passes that you were getting.
You've got to have a bit of good luck. You know, I had bad luck last season. A bit of good luck this season.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it comes in swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? So, yeah.
I'll take that anyway.
You deserve to go up. You went up 85 points, 2 points above Wolfsburg there in 9th place. Unfortunately, I can't say the same. So you go up in quite eschewed company, really.
Yes.
Lazio, Marseille, Brighton, some big clubs going up with you. as well as Borussia Dortmund, who were champions in my group, 110
I don't think there was ever going to be a doubt with that, with the players that we knew that they had, didn't it? So.
No, that's it. Look, you also went up. Bloody Krasnodar, who stole my main striker, Semedo. I wonder how many goals he scored for them. I would be so... Oh, he's top scorer, look. I'm glad he is top scorer, because I would have been so annoyed if they didn't play him.
Yeah.
That would have been just the most frustrating thing ever. But, I mean, yeah, we suffered. Finished down in 13th. I was closer than maybe I anticipated at the start of the season. I mean, I was only 8 points behind, but I was nowhere near.
Yeah. What I'm pleased about as well, even in your league, I would have qualified.
That's true. Yeah, that's something to look at as well. Yeah, Nelson Viper, who I think when we did the Super League last time was my main striker at Malwell. 31 goals there. Look at the 3 that was up there in the average rating. The 3 we mentioned in the media level. Yeah. So there's no surprise there.
We know he'll score goals wherever he goes, doesn't he? So he's one to get out of if you can. Yeah. So there's no surprise that Dortmund go up. I climbed up quite a lot, and I think towards the end of the season, I had an all right end. I didn't lose too many. In fact, I only lost 1 game in 2 months there. Just too many draws. I was going to say, if you look at the games that you've drawn, that's the game that's cost you the promotion, really.
Yeah, definitely. Got past Rangers, though, and then lost to Liverpool, which is unfortunate. So, yeah, again, you had a bad draw last year against Bayern Munich. I had a bad draw this year against Liverpool. But, yeah, I've got to find my way of getting up into the Super League now, because the race is well and truly on. I was ahead, and now you've caught up and then surpassed me.
Come on.
In the Super League. So, financially, I've got £129 million in the bank. That gives me £62 million to spend, with a decent wage budget as well.
Yep.
Now, squad-wise, we've got Kostelas, who stepped up as my main striker. Didn't quite get as many goals as the likes of Semedo, or even, of course, Pedro Mendes got me in the past. I'm a little bit disappointed with the rest of the team chipping in. I thought my 2 shadow strikers, Volpato especially, would do a little bit better.
Yeah.
He has been my best player, so I can't be too harsh on him. But only 11 goals, 14 assists isn't too bad. I really need to find a secondary attacking midfielder in there. By the looks of it, when he eventually did join us, Hugo Duro only had 9 starts, 11 off the bench. And my assistant manager really favoured playing, where is he? The other attacking midfielder, the really crap one, Fredrik Jensen. 40 starts. How is he getting 40 starts?
He obviously can see something that we can't see.
Yeah, he is. He has got some videos of my assistant manager on his phone that my assistant manager doesn't want getting out. I think that is the case. And he looks like a demon who would do something like that. I think he is.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to him,
Yeah, he is. He has got some evidence, I think. But Yasin Ayari is getting better each time. He's growing and developing quite well into that position. But I still think, I need to make some adjustments here and find a system that will get me promoted like you have with you. But let's have a look to see how your team performed overall. The goals was Beto getting 23, but Bungard got 18.
Yeah, so the 2 good strikers brought in, so they've done the business from there. They got me promoted. So, but I'm a bit like you, really. I don't think I've scored enough goals. Yeah, I haven't scored enough goals. Bearing in mind, I've got two players behind them as well.
Yeah, because they didn't do that well. No. 6 and 5 from Mateus Fernandes. That's worse than last season. I expected
more from him, really, because he had a good first season, and he sort of screwed his position down, so it was his to take now, and he's let me down badly there, I think.
Yeah, because your best player, 7.19 average rating, was Patrick Wellemark, who, very similar to me, was the attacking midfielder that you still would hope would score more goals.
Yeah, definitely.
He got 13 assists, but...
No, he's got to be scoring more goals. In that position, really, he should be coming forward and sort of like taking a few responsibilities, really, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, your transfer budget, Dad, £61 million. You didn't have, obviously, the cup run.
No.
So still getting £61 million is decent enough.
I've got to be happy with that, because, like I said earlier, I've got a really big squad, so I can afford to sell a few players as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not too disappointed with that sort of figure.
All right, well, you'll have to tune in for the next time that the Super League drops, because, of course, we are now going into the actual Super League. Well, Dad is anyway. I still got to catch up. Dad is going into the top flight with all of the big boys. Now, let's have a quick look at this. Real Madrid have won it this year.
10 points.
They've won it back-to-back with Man City, who has either finished runners-up or won it in all 4 years.
Yes.
and Real Madrid finished runners-up the season before. So are we already seeing a dynasty? I mean, Benfica doing very well, finishing in third place. Fantastic from them. But even Erling Haaland can only get 29 goals in this league. That's how difficult it really is. And his old strike partner, Julian Alvarez, got 27. So going down into my divisions, you can see the likes of Sunderland, Feyenoord, some big clubs, Wolves, not too scary. I thought, we might see a few of the other big boys, but they all seem to be rising to the top.
From about
15 onwards,
there's just big team after big team after big team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's where the fun really plays out.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to this.
Absolutely. There is a challenge there, especially because we've already given you a bit of a taste there of the new gens at that one at Rangers. There's plenty more where that came from, and I think we'll start to see them in season number 5. So make sure you subscribe so you do not miss the next episode of the Race to the Super League.